So, you want to start a business, huh? Well, you've come to the right place. Welcome to NGMI, the show where we learn a lesson as we're building our accounting business in public and then use that lesson to tell other people what to not do. So we've been making an NGMI video for, a long time now. I don't know, more than half of the year.
That's a long time.
I haven't done a video for someone who's wondering if they should start a business. Should you become an entrepreneur? Should you go out on your own? What's the answer? No. Just kidding, that's not the answer. There are a lot of factors to take into account when you're starting a new business, and just generally not everybody is cut out for it. There's money, there's time, there's passion, there's
massive amounts of depression,
arguments and fights and successes and celebrations. There's so much that goes into creating your own business. It's really complicated, and let's unpack some of that. There's a famous thought leader / think boy named Michael Gerber who wrote a book in the 80s or 90s that it took the business community by storm. It's called the E-Myth. You might know it as the E-Myth Revisited. And Michael Gerber basically put out a book that analyzed the way that most small businesses are started and why so many of them fail and why so many entrepreneurs are so deeply unhappy when they start their first small business. Michael basically split entrepreneurs into 3 different categories. He called them technicians, managers, or entrepreneurs. The technicians were the people that were actively doing the work. The managers were the people focused on implementing systems and processes and making sure that everything works well. And the entrepreneur was the one who was actually defining the vision and overall goal of the business. In an interview with another think boy named Tim Ferriss, who wrote a lot of great books that I don't have time to talk about right now, Michael Gerber said this: "The entrepreneurial seizure lies at the heart of most failures in judgment when someone decides to leave his or her job to go out on their own. The excitement of independence associated with getting rid of the boss is almost always fueled by a flawed understanding of what being on your own means." Gerber goes on to say, well, most small businesses, they're started by technicians. So if you're a photographer, you start a photography business, a graphic designer, you start a graphic design business. If you're an accountant, you start an accounting business, and so on and so forth. But the problem is that those technicians, they start businesses that are focused on the thing that they already know how to do. You might say, well, Jeremy, that's not a problem. That's just smart business. You do the thing that you know because you're good at it and you can make money. But instead of freeing themselves from the boss, they have become their own boss, and they're now, with absolutely no understanding about how it happened, working for a lunatic themselves and doing what they know how to do, but in a greater volume than before. So technicians, people that know how to do things and do them really well, they'll go off and they'll say, I can do this on my own. And then they'll just realize over time that the thing that they're doing on their own is just consuming everything. It's no longer that they've started a business that provides this service, it's that they've become a business that provides this service. So in his mind, the goal is to create a business that is beyond oneself. Something that can function independently of you, the founder, which makes a lot of sense, right? So if you're having entrepreneurial seizures, it's not a bad thing, but you need to understand first what starting a business is actually like. It's not just, oh, I'm really good at doing one thing. It should be, I'm really good at creating an idea that a lot of people can get behind and build together. There's this Japanese concept that I really love that I was taught in business school that is called Ikigai. And I'm probably 100% butchering the pronunciation, but Ikigai is essentially this concept of giving your life meaning. Ikigai helps to find the reason for being, what your purpose is meant to be in life. And it can be a really helpful tool for taking a step back and examining your life and what you want out of it. The way that Ikigai works is that it helps you understand 4 essential quadrants of your life in order to better see the full picture. At the top quadrant, you start with what you love, then what the world needs, what you can get paid for, and then lastly, what you're good at. And at the intersection of all 4 of those things, what you love, what the world needs, what you can get paid for, and what you're good at, is the Ikigai, your reason for being, the thing that you are alive for.
Totally unrelated meme break. totally unrelated meme break.
And again, I think that this is really helpful because it allows us to take a step back of what Gerber was talking about with that entrepreneurial seizure, that feeling where we understand like, hey, I can actually do this on my own. Instead of just analyzing what am I good at, what am I really excellent at doing, I actually have 3 other things that need to go into creating a purpose in my life. I'm actually going to create something that's much more meaningful and sustainable for my life over the long run. And for some people that might look like a small business, for some people that might look like a different job, or for some people it might just look like volunteering in various positions. Whatever you might be thinking about doing, it's a much more personal decision than someone on the internet can tell you. So if you're thinking of starting a small business, ask yourself, why? What are you trying to get out of it? And why is it going to be successful? And who should care? If it's just for your personal enjoyment and you want to take a break from working for a boss and maybe try out your own thing for a while, that's totally fine, good for you. But don't be shocked when you start to feel a little bit more burnt out than you previously did, or if it's just not what you were really expecting, or if it's a lot harder to expand and hire and grow than you thought it was going to be. At that point, you really need to take a step back and ask yourself, should I be doing this? Asking yourself those questions really help to kickstart the journey. In order to actually have a successful business, you gotta do it. Seriously, build a prototype. Go ask someone if they buy it. Understand what the customer is looking for. It doesn't have to be this whole thing where you go out and file all the paperwork and start with bank accounts and all these different things. No. Just start, because that's the biggest thing that you can do for yourself in understanding of whether or not this is the right thing for you to do. It's to just do it. I'm waiting on that Nike sponsorship. Anyways, I'm gonna go take a nap. Good night. If you're having seizures, it's not a bad thing. That's what you're good at. The thing that you are alive for.